Because of the light bulbs.
The water likes you.
It's a light bulb.
Yeah, yeah. What's back there? It's very authentic.
Okay. What's your deck, guys?
We should have brought you a chair.
That's right. We getting out now. Yeah, that's right. La la la. Lord. Oh my lord. It's not that cold. Like what makes it cold is that the wind is blowing on you in the car. So we're in the mine now.
Yeah, we're in line now.
Oh my god. Is that guy still alive?
I don't know.
I'm curious. Oh,
Whoa.
it's raining.
Who's going first?
I'll go.
You like spiders?
No, I'll stay here.
You don't want to go. All right. That's a big opening. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that
He's
opening in a moment.
He's asking people.
We lose half the crew already. All right, guys, now you might recall I mentioned there's, oh, you still got some coming. I thought so. You might recall I mentioned there's 13 different veins in here. Now, simply right now you're standing in another vein. In fact, this is known as the gangway of the 7-foot vein. Now, a little bit about a gangway. It's going to be the main haulage point of any particular vein that you're working in. In other words, if we were under full operation right now, there would be railroad tracks running down the middle of this thing. You take a buggy like that one, you can fill it with coal and take it on out of here. We're going to talk a little bit about how you're able to do that, though. That sure does involve this manway right here. Now, the basic purpose of these manways are just so the miners can follow this vein of coal right up inside the mountain. And really their objective is to advance the mine 6 feet a day. But if we were to hop on this ladder right now, you're going to climb up here about 45 feet. And at that point, you'd be looking at what's known as a miner's heading. And this is a 3 feet diameter hole that's similar to this one. That's actually driven right along the strike of this seam of coal. This gangway and that miner's heading, they're going to travel right along with each other. Now, it's set up that way in order to maintain the integrity of the airflow in here, which the air does flow down this gangway, goes up the last chute, right back out that miner's heading. Now, some of you may already be aware that coal only comes from types of vegetation. This means trees, leaves, and ferns, things like that. Now, what I find interesting about it is it does take between 8 and 11 square feet of this kind of vegetation to make 1 square foot of anthracite coal. Now, geologists have determined through carbon sampling that the coal around here is somewhere in the area of 302 million years old. And as I say to everybody, this depends on the religion you are, right? So don't throw stones at me, I'm just a messenger here. I get a lot of trouble for that one, believe it or not. But before we get back to mining, guys, I got to show you a rather impressive fossil right down here. Right up here where my light's shining.
T-Rex.
Got over millions of years of heat and pressure that this tree is condensed down into what you see right now, which is simply a mineral deposit that was once a tree, okay? Now, you got a piece right here that broke off. That extended right down to here. That was laying in this gangway when we opened it for the tourist attraction you see today. Now, it must be pretty important because they did take that piece to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. And if you're ever down there, look it up. Tell them I want my rock back already, all right? They've had it long enough. But as I mentioned about that top and bottom rock back at the Mammoth, well, here in the 7-foot, you got the top rock here and then the bottom rock right over here. So picture where we're standing. It was all solid coal, obviously, at one point. But what happened is the coal pinched off and rolled over to rock like you're looking at down here. And as you can imagine, miners aren't going to get paid very well for hauling rock. So they moved on to something else. What's kind of interesting here is if you would have went 50 to 100 feet further right here, again, this would open to another 7 to 8 foot wide seam of coal. And the reason I know that, there's about a half mile west of us, there's a little town called Locustale out there. They started a tunnel just like this one in towards the east, and they ran into the same thing we did. The tools and equipment you see scattered around down here, this is what the miners use to get the coal out of here in the day. But we're going to get into a little more detail about that right down there where that dead guy is, okay?
Wait, are you sure he's dead?
I'm pretty sure.
just feel my heart beating. Oh look,
How long these timbers are down there?
fire extinguisher.
Well, this one here was what, 2012 I put it in.
Really?
And some of them, Barry, I've seen them back from 50 years old.
Whoa.
I'm gonna get into that a little bit for you. Okay? I don't wanna spoil the story too much. All right, if you guys can hear me down there, I'm gonna continue, all right, guys? Because pretty much back in the beginning, after the pick and shovel, this will be the primary tool that the miner would have been using. It's known as a hand geiger, and as you can see, it's just a hand-operated drill. Now, basically, you're gonna take this thing, drill a series of holes. Well, it's similar to this. You're gonna pack that with explosives, and that's gonna blow that seam of coal out from this bottom and top rock. And I am certified in anthracite mining. Now, I mentioned that to you because the mines I worked in, we were actually pulling coal out of the place, and that no longer occurs here. Some people find it